Hi, my name is Natalia Perez Cruz, and this is a small review of The Age of Spiritual Machines by Ray Kurzweil. The first question is, tell me who is the actor and what you found interesting about him. Well, first of all, the author Raymond Kurzweil, grew up in Queens, New York, and he raised under the influence of Unitarian Universalism. This means that he was exposed to a wide diversity of faiths. In this young, he was an avid reader of science fiction books. For me, this fact was so interesting because when he was young, he read science fiction books, and when he was an adult, he write about science reality. So I think this was a very important inspiration for his work in general. Other important topics is he had a bachelor degree in computer science and literature from MIT. In general, he also started a company to search technology that could teach portable computers to recognize print of a variety of sources. In general, the author began speculating about the future when he was just a kid. When he, as an adult, that became seriously involved in accurate prediction future. This is important because the author wrote two books about the topic. Other important thing about is that their predictions says that between now and 2050, technology will become so advanced and advanced in medicine, for example, we allow people to extend their life quality. The last important fact is that Google and NASA announced the creation of the Singularity University. This university tried to educate and inspire leaders to understand and facilitate the development on exponential technologies, like the ideas of the author. So this is so important for us and in general for the ideas that have the author. Okay. We will to talk about the different chapters of the book. First of all, we can talk about the part 1, chapter 1. In this case, the book have a prologue, In this prologue, talk about that we like humans, we like to solve problems, but we don't want to solve all of them. Not too quickly, anyway. When I was reading this, I think that this is true. In general, we love the problems. We love the idea to try to solve it. But if we don't have any problem, maybe the situation could be a little bit boring. In general, we are more attached to the problems than the solutions. Other important point in this chapter or in this principal part is that the time will become meaningless if we are too much of it. In general, for me, this is so true because the importance of the time or of our life is that we have a certain quantity of this. We know that one day we don't have more, and this gives sense to our life. In general, talk about other topics like the combination of human level intelligence in a machine. In general, we know that a computer have superiority in speed, accuracy, in the ability of sharing information. But also, he had a prediction about in the second decade of the next century. In other words, in this decade, it will become increasingly difficult to draw a distinction between the capacities of the human and the machine intelligence. After that, we have the chapter 1, the law of time and chaos. This chapter talks us about the nature of time is that moves in an exponential speed. One important topic in this part is a phrase of Einstein that say that the time is relative to the entities experience it. That evolution is a process but is not a closed system. It's subject to outside influence. For me, this have many manifold because if we think about something important in our life, like a moment or a memory, probably we are sharing this moment with other people, with other part of our family, for example. But in general, no one remembers the same moment and the same way. And this is because we have many different factors around us that don't let us remember the things in the same way. The same happened when we are in a date or something special. We believe that the time is faster than it really is. So I think this is so true. In general, talk about the importance of technology in the society, because to create technology is necessary to have intelligence and physical ability to manipulate the environment. Because many times we or other people have the idea, but this isn't enough if we don't know how to put in practice. It's part of the law of the time and chaos. This talk about the process. In a process, the time interval between two events expands or contracts along with the amount of chaos. Technology is a continuation of evolution. Itself is a process of evolution. When I was reading this, I remember that in chemistry, the entropy is an important concept because it tells us about the quantity or chaos that have in the universe, and in general tell us that the world increase their chaos all the time. The chapter 2 is about the intelligence of the evolution, and talk about evolution is a master programmer because has designed a million of species sorry. This is only in Earl. In general, this talk about the theory of evolution because I don't know how to explain. Well, the example it's about we are a system, but in general we are programming because we have a genetical code that defines our characteristics. And in general, this theory says that all the characteristics exchange are random. In this example, we can find the similarity between the computers and us because in reality, the evolution is a very slow process. In certain periods of time, needs to pass 100 years to see a real change. Other important point is that maybe the machines will match and exceed the human intelligence in some point, but this is not like we believe, because finally we have the capabilities like create machines, and this will continue. But we have the capability to do more or less a team that like an individual. This is very interesting because in general we know that the technology is a big part of our lives, and we have the opportunity to know and to improve many things like like computers more intelligent, like more intelligent computers. But in general, we also have the intelligence and the capability to do more things, not only the computers. The chapter 3 is about of mind and machines. Well, this talk about that the mechanic, the computers, doesn't have conscience, and this is because we are conscious because we have a soul that is immutable and unchangeable. And in general, this is like an interaction mental that works like a mechanism in our thinking process. So this characteristic is only of us. We have a soul and in general a subjective experience about the things that happen to us. We have objective knowledge that the computers doesn't have the capability to understand what is experience or what are the sensations and feelings that you have. In chapter 4 we talk about a new form of intelligence of Earl. We talk about the computers have the opportunity to learn, create, and in general their capability increase so quickly, and they range to handle with more problems every day. But in general, the author says something that for me is very important. The intelligence, more than everything, is an ability to use the limited resources to achieve a goal. So it's like a way to perceive a situation that is in disorder and do something and respect. No, it isn't. Isn't only a quantity of knowledge that we have. This is not like computers. We want to have more success because we have the capability to recognize some things and learn about it. So I think that really we have a big opportunity to understand so many things, but many times we decide not to use. And this is so worrying, at least for me, because in general we have a competition all the time. The chapter 5 is about context and knowledge and talk about the problems and the solutions that we have. This is a little bit confused because the author talk about the paradigms that are powerful, but in general also the knowledge that we need to understand. We know that the knowledge is very complex, not only for us, also for the computers. In one hand, we know that the computers can share faster the information, but we have the capability to teaching and learning. The part 2 is about preparing the present, and in the chapter 6 we talk about building new brains. This chapter talk about our need to build an intelligent machine, because we only need 3 things. We need the right set of formulas, resources, and a computer like this. In this case, the author talk about that our brain have enough space and knowledge to do the same that a computer, because in this moment we wasn't in the same point of capability that a computer, because we have more capability. The chapter 7 it's about bodies. It talk about the idea, the future idea of rebuilding our bodies with synthetic materials. Maybe because sometimes with the new technology we want to improve our capabilities on our bodies to build better machines. But it's important to remember that many characteristics of the human are not available for being a machine, like the sexuality and spirituality, because this is ways to transcend to our reality. We have to control, to reprogram our feelings to be more natural. Many things that we can program in a machine. We are conscious. That is the most important thing. In the chapter 8, the book talk about some predictions that the author made for the future. In this case, the future passed some years ago, but talk about things like the way we learn, the reliable person identifications, the documents doesn't exist, is more like audio or video, the problems of the society, that we need more education for new jobs. And in part 3, To Face to the Future, talk about in the chapter 9 about the predictions to the year 2009, because talk about that maybe we can see the change in the long term, and it's important because talk about things that we can see now, like intelligent technology, the new skills of training and development, new technologies and education, and all these things we already see in our reality. Chapter 10, 2019, talk about more predictions, but this is more about the future, because talk about things like communicate with computers more than with people, or maybe expression visual and verbally. Talk about the transition between human and computers. The chapter 11 talk about a reality that we don't know if will be true or not, because we are not in 2029, but talk about some things that in this moment sounds like science fiction, like have contact lenses that give us the opportunity to display an image that I projected into our retina. Things like computer process that you can share in any moment with the people that you want. In this case, we can see something of this in our reality, because it's something that you can find in some industries, and in general the technology is near to this. Talk about in the chapter 12 about 2099, that is in this case we can see like a far away reality, because basically it's like the human thinking is merging with the world of the machine intelligence, like one. This is a possibility, but also is something dangerous for us and for our future, because we don't know if we are capable to see this one day. Finally, in the epilogue, try to explain how the accelerating pace of change is inexorable. We don't have other option. In general, the merge of machine intelligence was something that need to happen. It is part of the evolution, like human. In this case, we talk about the evolution of the technology is the continuation of our evolution like humans. And finally, please mention how do you believe we could relate the metaverse to the ideas of the author. Do you relate? How? I think we can find a big similarity between these two, because like we know, metaverse is like an option, a type of digital world in when we have all the things that we want, like the perfect look, life when we decided we will to have all the decisions of our lives in our hands. But this is only a type of life online, not in real. So basically, the book have a more interesting part about the author talking with Molly, that is a person for the future, and Molly talk about things that is online, and I believe this of course will to happen. We are in the start point or a new type of life with technology and with computers. But for me, the most important thing that I understand and learn about the book is to be conscious that yes, exist many computers or many machines that are so capable to do process and to do things, but we are the person that created. We are in control. So many times we want to a technology solve our life, but it's not. Technology and machines are only tools to help us to achieve our goals, but are not the goals. We need to learn how to have a good relation with this technology, but don't let our life far of us. We are humans, we need to recognize this in us and in the importance of the technology.